Boatswain!
Here, master, here, what's here?
Good! Speak to the mariners, fall to it here, ere we run ourselves aground. But stir!
Cheerly, my hearts, take in the topsail! Take in the topsail, blow, if that wine burst, if room enough. Good boatswain, where is the master?
Where's the master, boatswain?
Keep your cabins, you do, assist the storm.
Nay, good, be patient.
When the sea is, what cares these rowers for the name of king?
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I love more than myself. If you can command these elements to silence, use your authority. If not, give thanks that you have lived so long and make yourself ready in your cabin. Out of our way, I say. Oh, down with the topmast yard, lower!
Ah!
Oh, a plague on this howling, they're louder than the weather. Yet again, what do you hear? Have you a mind to sink?
A pox to your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, uncharitable dog.
Oh, work you then.
Hey, you hoarse and insolent noisemaker, we are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
All lost!
To prayers.
All lost.
Oh, what must our mouths be cold?
The king and the prince to prayers.
I am out of patience.
We are merely cheated out of our lives by drunkards.
We split!
Let's all sink with the king!
Let's take leave of him.
Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea, for an acre of barren ground, long heath, down furs, anything. Wills above be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seemed, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel, who had no doubt some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. The cry.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done. No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee. Of thee, my dear one. Thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Canst remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person?
'Tis rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended to me?
Thou hadst, and more, Miranda. 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan, and his only heir and princess, no worse issued.
Oh, heavens. What foul play had we that we came from thence?
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious, he whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at that time, through all the signories, it was the first, and Prospero, the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity, and for the liberal arts, without a parallel. Those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger. Thy false uncle, being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance, and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them, or else new formed them, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear. He did believe he was indeed the Duke, his ambition growing. Dost thou mark me?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Millen. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough of temporal royalties. He thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for sway, with the King of Naples to give him annual tribute, do him homage. This King of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit to presently extirpate me and mine out of my dukedom and confer fair Millen with all the honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied one midnight, fated to the purpose, Antonio hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not, so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, a rotten carcass of a butt, not rigged, nor tackle, sail, nor mast, but the very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds, who, pity sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubin thou wast, that didst preserve me. Thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, when I have decked the sea with drops full salt.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had, and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, who being then appointed master of this design, did give us. Knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom. Here arrived have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princess can, that have more time for vainer hours, and tutors not so careful.
Heaven thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind your reason for raising this sea storm?
No, thus far forth. Bountiful fortune hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court not but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here, cease more questions. Thou art unkind to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness. Give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, servant. Come, I'm ready now. Approach, my Ariel, come.
All hail, great master, grave sir. Hail, I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire.
Hast thou performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck. In every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I'll divide and burn in many places. Fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit. Who was so firm, so constant that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul but felt the fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel. The king's son Ferdinand cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here."
Why, that's my spirit. But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished on their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badst me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son I have landed by himself, who I left cooling in the air with sighs, in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting in his arms in the sad knot.
Of the king's ship, The mariners, say how thou hast disposed, and all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship. In the deep nook she's hid. All the mariners are under hatches stowed, whom, with a charm, forced their suffered labor, I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they have all met again, and now are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing they saw the king's ship wrecked and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work.
Is there more toil? Since you just gave me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed on me.
Moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakes, served without grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to bait me a
Didst
full
thou
year.
forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou liest, malignant thing. Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argier.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgett'st. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries, terrible to enter human hearing, from Argier, thou knowst, was banished. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, was then her servant. And for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hests, she did confine thee into a cloven pine, within which rift, imprisoned, thou didst painfully remain 12 years, within which space she died and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans, didst make wolves howl, and penetrate the breasts of ever-angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master, I will be correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Hearken thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Awake. Awake, dear heart, thou hast slept well. Awake.
What strangeness of the strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
What, O slave, Caliban? Thou earth, thou speak!
There's wood enough within.
Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth!
As wicked dew as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both. A southwest blow on you and blister you all o'er.
For this be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramps, side stitches that shall pen thy breath up, pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than bees that made them.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine by Sycorax my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me, and made much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in't, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Cursed be I that did so. All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats, light on you, for I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you sty me in this hard rock, while yous do keep me from the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness, I have used thee, filth as thou art, with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Would it had been done. Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else this isle with Calibans.
I pity thee. Took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other. When thou didst not savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish, I endowed thy purpose with words that made them known. But thy wild race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good nature could not abide with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock. Who hadst deserved more than a prison?
You taught me language, and my profit on't is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Accede hence. Fetch us in fuel, and be quick, thou art best. If thou neglect'st, I'll race thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy den.
No, pray thee, I must obey. His art is of such power it would control my damned god Setebos and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands, curtsied when you haven't kissed the wild waves whiz. Footed feebly, there and sweet sprites bear the burden. Hark, hark, bark, walk, the watchdogs bark.
Where should the
Bark,
music be?
walk, bark, walk.
The air or the earth? It sounds no more. And sure, it waits upon some god of the island sitting on a bank, weeping again, the king, my father's wrack. This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence have I followed it, or it hath drawn me, rather, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
By thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that wore his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell. Ding dong, hark now I hear them. Ding dong, bell.
The fringed curtains of thine eye advance, and say, what thus seest yonder?
What is the spirit?
No, wench, it eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have. Such, this gallant, which thou seest, was in the rack, and but he's something stained with grief that's beauty's canker. You mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows, and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
Most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend. Vouchsafe my prayer. May know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder, if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language! Heavens, I am the best of them that speak this speech, were I but where 'tis spoken.
How, the best? What wert thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now, that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does, I weep. Myself am Naples, who, with mine eyes, never since at ebb beheld the king my father wrecked.
Alack for mercy.
Yes, Faith, and all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his brave son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control thee, if now 'twere fit to do it. At the first sight, they have changed eyes. Oh, delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir?
Oh.
I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Pity, move my father to be inclined my way.
Oh, if a virgin and your affections not gone forth, I'll make you the Queen of Naples.
Soft, sir. One word more. They are both in each other's powers, but this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself upon this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on it.
No, as I am a man.
There is no ill can dwell in such a temple.
Speak not you for him, he's a traitor. Come, I will manacle thy neck and feet together.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he's gentle and not fearful.
What? I say, my foot, my tutor. Oh, put thy sword up, traitor, for I can here disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Teach you, father.
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? Thou thinkst there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban, foolish wench? To most of the men, this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in their infancy again, and have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the rackle of all my friends, nor this man's threats to whom I'm subdued are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid. All corners else o'er the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on.
My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unwanted which now came from him.
Thou shalt be as free as mountain winds, but then exactly do all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come, fellow. Speak not for him.
Beseech you, sir, be merry, you have cause. So have we all of joy. Our escape is much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common every day. Some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. And wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitor will not give him or so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir,
One, tell.
when every grief is entertained, that's offered comes the entertainer.
$1.
$1 comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
For my lord.
Fie, what a spendthrift is he of his tongue.
Well, I have done, but yet
He will be talking.
The island seems to be desert, uninhabitable and most inaccessible.
Yet,
It must be of subtle, tender and delicate temperance.
Temperance was a delicate wench.
Here is everything advantageous to life. How lush and lusty the grass looks. How green.
He misses not much.
no, he doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit.
As many vouched rarities are.
Our garments, being as they were, drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness and glosses, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies?
Aye, or very falsely pocket up his report.
Methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first at the marriage of the king's fair daughter, Claribel, the king of Tunis.
What impossible matter will he make easy next?
I think he will carry this island home in his pocket and give it his son for an apple.
And sowing the kernels of it in the sea bring forth more islands.
Sir, our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen. Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
When I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I never married my daughter there? For coming thence my son is lost, and in my rate she too. Who is so far from Italy removed? I'd ne'er again see her. All thine mine hair, Naples and Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him, and ride upon their backs. He trod the water, whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
It is foul weather in us all, sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lord, and were I the king on it, what would I do?
'Scape being drunk for want of wine.
In the Commonwealth, I would, by contraries, execute all things, riches, poverty, and use of service, none. Contract, succession, born, bound of land, till, vineyard, none. No use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil. No occupation. All men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure. No sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on't.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
I would, with such perfection, heaven, sir, excel the golden age.
Save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo!
And you mark me, sir?
Prithee no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always use to laugh at nothing.
Oh, nay, my good lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep, for I am very heavy.
What? All so soon asleep? I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. Seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by a thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian, oh, what might. Oh, no more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face. What thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping on thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakst out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say? This is a strange repose, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lett'st thy fortune sleep. Die, rather, winkst while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, which to do troubles thee o'er.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Prithee, say on.
Although this lord of weak remembrance here hath here almost persuaded the king his son's alive, 'tis as impossible that he's undrowned as he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope have you? Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who is the next heir of Naples?
Claribel.
She that is queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life, she that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post, the man in the moon's too slow, till newborn chins be rough and razorable.
What stuff is this? 'Tis true my brother's daughter's queen of Tunis, so is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
Some space. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. Now look how well my garments sit upon me, much feeter than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
Aye, sir. Where lies that? 20 consciences that stand twixt me and Millen, candid be they, and melt ere they molest. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever, whilst you doing thus to the perpetual wink, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion, as cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my president. As thou gotst Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like. Let it fall on Gonzalo.
My master, through his art, foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, for else his project dies, to keep them living.
Now, good angels, preserve the king.
Oh, why? Oh, now, long awake, why are you drawn? Well, this ghastly looking.
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a hollow burst of bellowing, like bulls, or rather lions. Did not wake you? Struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honour, sir, I heard a humming, and that a strange one. As mine eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, But verily, it's best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts. He is sure in the islands.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
All the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, on Prosper fall and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me. For every trifle are they set upon me, sometimes like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bite me. Then, like hedgehogs, which lie tumbling in my barefoot way, and mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. Lo, here comes a spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, chance he will not mind me.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear any weather at all, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bomber that would shed his liquor. Well, what have we here? A man? A fish? What, dead or alive? A fish. Oh, smells like a fish. Very ancient and fish-like smell. A strange fish. Was legged like a man, and his fins are like arms. Warm, my troth. I do not now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer that this is no fish but an islander. Oh, sorry, sweetie. Oh, now that lately I've suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas. Oh, the storm has come again. Okay. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There's no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man. Strange bedfellows.
I shall no more to see. Here I shall die ashore. This is a very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here is my comfort. The master, the sailor, the boatswain, and I, the gunner and his mate, loved Mo, Megan, Marian, and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate. For she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved not the savor of tar nor of pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her where'er she did itch. Then to the sea, boys, and let her go hang. This is a scurvy tune too, but here is my comfort.
Do not torment me. Oh.
What is the matter? What have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon us with salvages and men of India, huh? I have not escaped drowning to be afeard now of your 4 legs.
Oh, the spirit torments me. Oh.
This is some monster of the isle with 4 legs who hath got, as I take it, an ague. Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give him some relief if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor.
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fits now, and he does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste after my bottle. If he have never drunk wine afore, it will go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take too much for him.
Thou dost me yet but a little hurt. Thou wilt anon, I know it by thy trembling. Now Prosper works upon thee.
Come on your ways, open your mouth. Here is that which will give language to you, cat. Open your mouth. This will shake your shaking, I can tell you, and soundly. I cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. Well, it should be, no, but he's drowned. There's devils. Oh, defend me.
4 legs and 2 voices, a most delicate monster. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come. Amen. I will pour some in thy other mouth.
Stephano?
Does thine other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, this is a devil and no monster. I will leave him.
No, Stephano. If thou be Stephano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, thy good friend Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by thy lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they. Thou art Trinculo indeed! How camest thou to be the siege of this moon calf? Can he vent Trinculos?
I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke, but are thou not drowned, Stephano? I hope that thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou living, Stephano?
Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they not be sprites, that's a brave god, and bear celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon a butt of sack, which the sailors heaved overboard.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy truth subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escapest.
Swam ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck. I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stephano, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. Swear.
By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I have fear to him.
I will show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. I pray thee, be my god.
By this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster. When God's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy true subject.
Come on then, down and swear.
No, I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. Now, a plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I pray thee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. Wilt thou go with me?
I pray thee now lead the way without any more talking. Trinculo, the king, and all our company else being drowned, we will inherit here. Here, bear my bottle.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell.
A howling monster, a drunken monster.
No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetch and firing at requiring a trencher nor dish. Ban, Caliban has a new master. Get a new man, why you smiling? Freedom, high day, freedom. Freedom, high day, freedom.
Oh, brave monster, lead the way.
There be some sports are painful. Their labors, delight in them sets off. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasures. She is 10 times more gentle than her father's crab, and he's composed of harshness. I must revolve some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work and says, such baseness had never like executor. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors, most busy lest when I do it.
Alas, now pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burned up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray, now rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I'd rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazily by.
It would become me as well as it does you. And I should do it with much more ease, for my good will is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look weary.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly, that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed, and put it to the foil. But you, oh, you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face, remember, save from my glass, mine own. Nor have I seen more than I may call men than you, good friend. And my dear father, ooh, how features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape beside yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow in my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you?
Oh, heaven! Oh, earth! Hear witness to this sound, and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. If hollowly invert what's best is bodied to me to mischief, I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at that which I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heaven rain grace on that which breeds between
Wherefore
them.
weep you?
At my unworthiness, that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself. The bigger bulk it grows, it shows. Hence, bashful cunning and prompt me plain and holy innocence. I am your wife, if you'll marry me. If not, I'll die your maid and be your bedfellow. You may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband then?
I, with a heart as willing as bondage, heir of freedom, here's my hand.
Mine? Oh, with my heart in it. And now, farewell till half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
So glad of this as they I cannot be, who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Tell not me. When the butt is out, we will drink water, not a drop before. Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? You were a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
My man monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. By this light, thou shalt be my lieutenant monster. Mooncalf, Speak once in thy life, if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Let me lick thy shoe. I'll not serve him. He is not valiant.
Thou liest, thou debauched fish, thou. Were there ever a man or a coward that had drunk so much sack as I today?
Lo, how he mocks me. Wilt thou let him, my lord?
What lord, quoth he?
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. The poor monster is my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee?
Marry, I will. Kneel and repeat it. I will stand, and so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest.
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou.
Trinculo, if you trouble him any more in his tale, by this hand I will supplant some of your teeth.
What? I said nothing.
Mum then, and no more. Proceed.
I say by sorcery he got for me this isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord. I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayst knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pied ninny's this? Thou scurvy patch, I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows, and take his bottle from him.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand, I'll turn my mercy out of the doors and make a stockfish of thee.
What did I? I did nothing.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Take thou that as you like this. Give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie. Out of your wits and hearing to a pox or your bottle. This can sack and drinking do.
Now, forward with your tale. I prithee, stand further off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand farther. Come. Proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayst brain him, having first seized his books. For without them he's but a sot as I am, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books, and that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman but only Sycorax, my dam, and she, but she is far surpasseth Sycorax, as greats does least.
Is it so brave a lass?
Aye, Lord, she will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will be king and queen, save our graces, and Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like this plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I am sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour he will be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
I on mine honor.
This I will tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Will you troll the catch you taught me but while ere?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason. Any reason. Come on, Trinculo, let us sing. Flautum
and coutum
and
scoutum
scoutum and flautum. Thought is free.
That's not the tune.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He dies that pays all debts. I defy thee. Mercy upon us.
Art thou afeard?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeard. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that if I then had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. And then in dreaming the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, where I shall have my music for nothing.
when Prosper is destroyed.
That shall be by and by. I remember the story.
The sound is going away. Let's follow it, and after do our work.
Lead, monster.
My old bones aches. Here's a maze trod indeed. I needs must rest me.
I cannot blame thee. Who am I, self-attached with weariness? The dulling of my spirits, he is drowned. Whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land.
The next advantage will we take throughly.
Let it be tonight. For now they are oppressed with travel. They will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
What harmony is this, my good friends, hark? Give us, kind keepers, heavens.
Now I will believe that there are unicorns.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me?
They have left their viands behind, and we have stomachs. Will please you taste of what is here?
Not I.
Faith, sir, you need not fear.
You are three men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in't, the never surfeited sea hath caused to belch up you. I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements, of whom your swords are tempered, may as well wound the loud winds, or with the mocked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dole that's in my plume. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas, the shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son Alonso they have bereft, and do pronounce me lingering perdition worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend to you and your ways, whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
Sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous, monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder that deep and dreadful organ pipe pronounced. The name of Prosper. It did base my trespass, therefore, my son. If ooze is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than their plummet sounded. And with him, there lie muddled.
But one fiend at a time, I'll fight their legions o'er.
I'll be thy second.
All three of them are desperate. Follow them swiftly, and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to. Follow, I pray you.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here a third of mine own life, or that for which I live, my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow, but barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathly that you shall hate it both.
The murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion our worser genius can, shall never melt mine honor into lust.
'Tis fairly spoke. Sit then, and talk with her. She is thine own. What, Ariel? My industrious servant Ariel.
What would my potent master?
Go bring the rabble or whom I gave thee power here to this place. Incite them to quick motion.
Presently.
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go, each one tripping on his toe, we'll be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No.
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not approach till thou dost hear me call.
Well, I conceive.
Look thou be true. Do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire and the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
Weren't you, sir? The white, cold, virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well, now come, my Ariel, bring a corollary, rather than want a spirit. Appear and pertly. No tongue, all eyes. Be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I. Bids thee approach, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport. Here peacocks fly amain. Approach, rich Ceres, here to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger. Why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short-greened grass?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers. This man and maid, whose vows are that no bedright shall be paid till Hymen's torch be lighted, but in vain Mars' hot minion is returned again. Her wash-pit-headed son has broke his arrow, swears he will not shoot no more, but play with sparrows and be a boy right out.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes. I know her by her gait.
How does my bounteous sister? Go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be and honored in their issue.
Honor, riches, marriage, blessing, long continuance and increasing. Hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you. Vines with clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly burden bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity shall want and shun you. We all sing our blessings on you.
This is a most majestic vision and harmonious charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits, which by mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever.
Oh, there's something else to do. Hush, hush, and be mute.
You nymphs called naiads of you windring brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks. Come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late. You sunburned sicklemen of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry. Make holly day, your rye straw hats put on, and these fresh nymphs encounter every one in country footing.
I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. Well done, avoid! No more!
This is strange. Your father is in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Oh, be cheerful, son. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself. Yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. If you be pleased, retire into my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Come with a thought. Come with a thought. I thank thee, Ariel.
Thy thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
Aye, my commander, when I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee, but I feared lest I might anger thee.
Where didst thou leave those varlets?
In the filthy mangled pool beyond your cell, where they're dancing up to the chins in that foul lake, or stunk their feet.
This was well done, my bird. A devil, a born devil. All lost. Quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide, all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, grim, full of sorrow and dismay, but chiefly him that you term, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself, one of their kind, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go, release them, Ariel. Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrumps, by whose aid, weak monsters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth multitudinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oped, and let them forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure, and when I have required some heavenly music, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. A solemn air, and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy. The charm dissolves apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver and a loyal sir to him thou followest. I will pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly did thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act, Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood. You, brother mine, that entertain ambition, expelled remorse and nature, whom with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king, I do forgive thee. Unnatural though thou art, their understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lie foul and muddy. Ariel, to the king's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches. The master and the boatswain, being awake, enforce them to this place. And presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero.
Whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late I have been, I know not. My pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends, with which I fear a madness held me. But how should Prospero be living, and be here?
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends all. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded, I here could pluck his highness frown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time, I will tell no tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No, for you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth, I do forgive. Thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How hast thou met us here, whom 3 hours since were racked upon this shore, where I have lost how sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand?
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, of whose soft grace, for the like loss, I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You the like loss?
As great to me, as late, for I have lost my daughter.
A daughter? Oh heavens, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there, that they were. I wish myself were muddled in this oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. Pray you, sir, look in. My dukedom, since you've given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing. At least bring forth a wonder to content you as much as me, my dukedom.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Oh, the seas threaten. They are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of glad Father compass thee about our eyes, and say how thou canst here.
Oh, wonder how many goodly creatures are there here. How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wasn't at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 2 hours. Is she the goddess that hath served us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence, she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She's daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renown, but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life, and second father this lady makes him to me.
I am hers. But oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child's.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrances with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke ere this, Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown. Was Milan thrust from Milan? This she should become king of Naples. Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy.
Give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so, amen. Oh, look, sir, here is more of us. Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
The best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight in yarn and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all of this I have done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events. They strengthened from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither?
If I did think, sir, I were well awake, I'll strive to tell you. We were dead of sleep, and how we know not of, all clapped under hatches where, but even now with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, we were awaked. Straightway at liberty, where we in all our trim freshly beheld our royal good and gallant ship, our master capering out to eye her.
Wast well done?
Bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free.
This is as strange as maize and air med trod. And there is in this business more than nature. Was ever conductive, some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly single, I'll resolve you, which to you shall seem probable of every these happened accidents, till when, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie this spell. How fares my gracious sir? Now, there are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Oh, Setebos, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy them?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords. Then say if they be true. This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon. And this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. 2 of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stephano, my drunken butler? And Trinculo is reeling ripe. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded them? How canst thou be in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me I will never out my bones.
You'd be king of the Isles, Sirrah?
I should have been a sore one then.
This is a strange thing as ere I looked on.
He is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape. Go, Sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions. As you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will. And I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool?
Go to, away. Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as I not doubt shall make it go quick away, the story of my life, and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle. And in the morn, I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these, our dear beloved, solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements. Be free, and fare thee well. Please you. Draw near. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant. And my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults, as you from crimes would pardoned be. Let your indulgence set me free.
Congrats, Monty. Congrats all. Congrats, cast. Congrats, audience. Welcome to the post show. This is our first post show, so we'll do our very best to figure it out as we go, which is kind of what we're all doing these days. We're going to do 3 questions here that are a curated list of questions for the cast. 90 seconds each to answer. 90 seconds as a cast to answer. During those 4.5 minutes, please feel free to hop in on the chat on YouTube if you have questions you want to ask. We're going to take 2 questions from the chat and then pop them to the cast as well. And then we'll head over to the digital pub, which if you are a Patreon member at a certain level, you will have the access code to, where we'll all let loose and happy hour max. I'm going to stop talking lest I get myself in trouble. So off we go. Cast, it was a joy to watch you all. The first question we have for everyone is, what did you learn about the play today that you didn't know before? And anyone can hop in. And also, feel free to turn your cameras on. Yeah, good, great, we're there.
I didn't know that it could be played with everybody 5,000 miles from each other.
I also didn't realize that that the technology that was used could really add to the magic, because this play is usually the themes of it are so natural, but yet getting to watch Monty play with his different camera setups and how effective that was, I thought was a really cool exploration.
I didn't know that I would like it. I didn't really ever dig on Tempest too much, but I've never been in it, and to take part in it, I got to see some different character perspectives that I otherwise would not have. So it was a gift.
I mean, I learned everything about this play because I don't think I had ever read Tempest before. So this has been a trippy little process, and it's been a fun play to get to learn.
I learned that Daniel Kemper is the master of product placement.
All day, every day. All day, every day. Yes, indeed.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. And also, just so everybody knows, if you're planning to come to the digital happy hour, this is what I will be drinking my liquor out of. So it's all there. It's always ready.
But I thought a coffee cup always has coffee in it.
Oh.
Not over in Brooklyn. That's not how we operate. Maybe that's what they do in New Hampshire, but
I don't think so, brother. Great. The second question we've got for the group is coming momentarily. What image, phrase, or word from the play popped out to you today?
Confinement.
Mm.
All the confined stuff really just like, gutted me in a way that was very surprising.
I loved getting to play with the idea that we have control over the elements, especially in this time when it feels like we are being fucked by the elements.
This is now an explicit broadcast.
And just to take on the opposite of that, being one of the mere mortals in the play, I felt like I was really pushed around by the elements. And as somebody who had supposedly been in charge for such a long time, to suddenly be completely swept off your feet and not to be in charge was disconcerting. And for my character, made me pretty pissed off. But it's interesting that the elements really do. They just fight back hugely in this, and I think that's kind of a statement for today.
The last question on our curated list of 3 questions that will be asked after every show is, why does this play matter right now?
Aren't we all getting swept away by something?
Oh.
Bars. Yeah, no. It's, I don't know. It's just, it's nice to sort of like be transported into this isle where magic exists and things can happen, out of thin air. Like walking outside. But yeah, no, it's just nice to disappear into this magical isle with these characters, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd also say the feeling of like rediscovery. I feel like right now in my life, I'm having to rediscover so many things, like rediscover what my human relationships look like via like virtual life, discover what my day-to-day life looks like inside my house. And I think that it's like, it feels like many of us, or at least myself, is entering into this phase of rediscovering mankind and humanity. Like it feels like there's something new is brewing. And I feel like that's like drowning the book and like being what's anew.
I also think the sense of loss and reunion is very important here. And I thought Miranda's line, "Oh brave new world that has such people in it," hit me harder because of, as you were saying, the idea of what the world would be like when we finally get back outside and when we get to see those people that we care about, that we are separated from at this moment.
You know, what really struck me was Prospero's last speech, that all of the magic in the world, all of the magic that he was able to call up to get his quote revenge was distasteful in the end. And when it's all gone, he is simply vulnerable, so vulnerable, and limping along towards death. And that really, really struck me today, how vulnerable we all are.
Yeah, we're all
without
sort
all
of
our toys, and our ways of interacting.
Yeah, we're all sort of on the island right now, right? And like some people have been living in the island for a really long time. Some people are stumbling in drunk. Some folks are kind of waking up here disoriented, and yeah, that was sort of like some imagery that really stuck with me today.
Yeah.
This isn't an image from the play, but the fact when Laura appeared outside, I feel like being outside has become such a rare thing for me now that I like literally gasped.
Yep. In the garden.
Speaking about that, I've been taking more time on my fire escape than I have in probably the 11 years that I've lived in my apartment, just because that is the one socially distant place I can regularly go to be around fresh air and like maintain a sense of depth perception, because usually like right now my gaze doesn't go past the other wall in the apartment. So it's been nice just to like breathe the free air and also look at something farther than 10 feet away from my face. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a comment here in the YouTube chat from Jeffrey Kinghorn. I am struck by the necessary power of forgiveness in the play. Which is, yeah, and that's Jeffrey. You always just go right for the heart, but so good, so good. I think we're at our time. We're 92 minutes in, and as promised, that's the time we'll take. We're headed over to the digital pub. If you would like to be part of that, hop on Patreon. The details are in the description? ?
Yeah, I think they should be in the right below the video.
Yeah, so they're down
and,
there.
and we'll be monitoring that it'll go on until probably about 8. We'll be monitoring that as it goes. So if you sign up now, we'll send you a link and you can pop on in with us.
Yeah, and just thank you to the cast. Thank you to the audience. Thanks to everyone. We're gonna get better and better at this as we go, and we're gonna keep trying. So this is the first step on the journey, and thanks for being part of it. I'm gonna kick it over. Monty, you got the technological stuff because I don't.
What? Oh no, I my art is gone. I've drawn my book. This is all I got.
That's it.
We love you all, and thanks for joining. And let's go to the bar. But like,
oh,
not
Drew.
really.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Drew.
Making me thirsty, Dhruv.